Let's make some noise. Come on.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB on the call. A brand new broadcast week is upon us here on the Delaware Valley and all points north, south, east, and west of here, and it's great to be back for another hopefully fruitful week of Philadelphia sports and sports conversation and general discussion. That's what I live for every day, and it's great to be back on this Sunday night, and I hope wherever it is that you are on this Sunday evening that you had a good weekend and that you're ready for the thrilling conversation that is to come here on this night on the Final Word. We had no football today. It doesn't seem right. I get it. They're a draw. They're a national draw. But, I don't know. Sunday without football during the football season sounds very counterproductive. But tomorrow night we'll get it back going again. Phillies, Eagles, and Chargers, Monday Night Football. And don't forget, when the game is complete, we have you covered on the Birds Flyby, the quintessential and Eagle postgame coverage here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. So make sure that you're tuned in for that in a must-win situation for the Eagles. And obviously that's going to be one of our topics of conversations tonight as we get ready for the must-win situation. Because if you think it's anything other than that, then obviously you have not been paying attention to the team this year. So 8-4 Eagles versus the 8-4 Chargers. Eagles without Jalen Carter, without Lane Johnson. Chargers dealing with a one-handed Herbert. Something's got to give in this thing. Should be a fun entertaining game, and we'll definitely put our final touches on it if that's what the conversation sort of slides to on this Sunday night. The Flyers were in action today, and I had you covered earlier on the Clear the Ice post game. And as I said during the post game, just a wasted opportunity, I think, for the Flyers to show the rest of the world what they were about. Coming off 3 days off, they had all the momentum essentially. They had the Avalanche coming off of a game yesterday against the Rangers. Not Mackenzie Gore. What's his name? Why did I forget his name? The Avalanche goalie, I'll get his name here in a second, decided to go back-to-back, and he was better at it than the Mackenzie Blackwood. Good God, man. I knew his name. Played against the Rangers yesterday and was back at it today against the Flyers and won both games. As the Flyers, we can question the fact of why Sam Ersson got the start. The Flyers' schedule is a little bit intensive throughout the rest of the month until they get to the Christmas break. So maybe Tocchet was setting up the rotation, so to speak. But I'm having a hard time understanding why Dan Vladar was not between the pipes today for the Flyers. And just in general from the team, not a good effort. You would really be hard-pressed to tell what team actually played yesterday and what team didn't, or what team was coming on the other side of a back-to-back versus what team wasn't. So the Flyers conversation we'll be having tonight as well. The winter meetings are about to get going out in, I think, were they in Orlando this year somewhere? LA somewhere? Wherever they are, they're about to kick off the winter meetings, and we have a bona fide hot stove rumor that affects your Philadelphia Phillies. And we'll definitely get into that, as this could be the start, hopefully, of some action for the Phillies this offseason. We have done nothing. We've made 3 moves, and they were all low-level minor league type moves for players that are just here to be bodies in the minor leagues. So hopefully we get to see some movement from the Phillies this week and the rest of Major League Baseball, as some of these high-priced free agents hopefully will start falling off the board. And we're going to discuss one of them, that there's the rumor mill, the hot stove has been kicked up way high on this individual. We'll get to that tonight. We'll get to our day of Philadelphia sports history, our of the night segment, and our card review. All of that here on the Final Word on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. But before I get into anything, let's remind out there, this is what's coming up this week on the network. Tomorrow night, you got the debut of a brand new show, the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. They will be launching at 7 o'clock. You'll see them every Monday and Tuesday at 7, adding them to the old galaxy of stars. And then you'll have the Birds fly by, Eagles, Chargers. There will be no final word tomorrow. I just want to be very clear about that. No final word tomorrow. On Tuesday, you got the props, locks, and parlay program, along with the Pittsburgh Sports Desk at 7. Then you got prop, locks, and parlay at 8. And then you got some clearing the ice, Flyers, Sharks at postgame. Again, there will be no final word on Tuesday. I have postgame duties, so you won't be seeing the final word on Tuesday either. Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and me at 9, so I will be back on Wednesday. Thursday, we got a full boat. Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn, the Gridiron Weekly program. I'm back for the final episode of the week. And Flyers Knights postgame. Friday, this is the world premiere of the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al Zafiri at 9. Saturday, Flyers and Hurricanes postgame. Sunday, Philly AM Sports, Eagles Raiders postgame, and then Flyers Hurricanes postgame. I got you on the postgame, so there will be no final word next Sunday as well. So we got to get it in where we can. So I'll be doing 3 final words this week, tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. So get me in while you can, because I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break, doing some post-game stuff, stepping aside for some Eagles action and everything else. So there's your schedule for the rest of this week here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And obviously the highlights of the week are the debut of the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program and the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al, starting on Friday, December 12th. So we can't wait for all that stuff to get going just in time for the holidays. And that's always a good thing. And here's the pretty little graphic there for the Philly Friday Frenzy. And here is your Pittsburgh Sports Tonight show graphic. You can kind of tell what the show is going to be about. Everything encompassing the world of Pittsburgh sports to go along with the show they already have. But whatever. Bring them on. Let's do it. Let's fill up those hours of the day. So that's all the stuff that we got coming up on the network this week. Again, only three final words this week: tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday. So hope you can deal with that, man, because it's a hard pill for me to swallow too. But let's get going on the show. Let's not waste any more time with your day in Philadelphia sports history. Let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside that car at all times, and let's go. On this day back in 1994, Jeff Malone of the Sixers scored a game-high 34 points during a 111-102 win over the Miami Heat, as the Sixers joined the Lakers and Celtics in rare company, becoming the third NBA franchise to reach the 2,000 victory mark as a franchise. While the 94-95 team hit the number, which they set the number that season, the Sixers owe the honor, of course, to the championship years of seasons past and some of that dominant play they had back in the 80s. After all, the team's 64 combined wins in 3 seasons from 94-95 through the 96-97 season was 4 games fewer than the team's 68 wins in the 66-67 season alone. So essentially, if you kind of want to extrapolate what I meant by all that, was the Sixers, who had a very successful franchise leading up to that 2000th victory in 94-95, was also the start of some really lean years for the Sixers over the course of the next 3 or 4 seasons, and then really pretty much into the early part of the 2000s, and then sort of just mid-2000s. So they joined the very exclusive club on this night back in 1994, joining the 2,000 victory mark for our franchise, but it hasn't been easy sledding since, as those glory days of seasons past prior to 94-95 seem like a distant memory now, especially for you younger folk who don't remember the battles on Sunday afternoons between the Sixers and Celtics and Sixers and Lakers. Just epic stuff, man. Great stuff to grow up with, great stuff to be part of when you're a kid. And I miss those days, man. I miss those days not only for the Sixers, but for the NBA. I can't even stomach watching the NBA. I think I might have watched 1 or 2 basketball games in their entirety over the course of the last 5 years. It's been that bad. And I used to be a huge basketball guy. Huge. Just can't stomach it anymore. But there you have it. Your day in Philadelphia sports history on this day, Pearl Harbor Day, 1994, the Sixers earned their 2000th career franchise victory in a win over the Miami Heat. And that little nugget of information was brought to you by the great folks over here at the network that are sponsors of shows like the Gridiron Weekly Report every Thursday night at 8 p.m. here on the It's a Rap Sports Network. Join the guys as they talk everything NFL, NCAA, BCS. Playoff bracket is out. Notre Dame, not given an invitation to the dance, said, you know what? If we can't play in a playoff, don't bother inviting us to a bowl game. Hey, you gotta give Notre Dame a little credit for that, man. You stand in your ground. You know, they let Miami in, which is amazing. And Notre Dame was not given a nod today in the BCS. So, hey, I give Notre Dame a lot of credit, man. You know, hold your guns. We ain't good enough for the BCS, and we ain't good enough for a bowl game. So give the GoDaddy.com bowl to somebody else. Probably Penn State. That's where Penn State's probably headed this year. To one of those lesser bowls. But yeah, so the BCS is out. Pretty interesting day in sports without the Eagles. But let's get into the Philadelphia Eagles. Before I do that, what you guys see this thing happen out in Indy, man? Dan Jones tore his ACL. I mean, good God. Anthony Richardson, who's their former next greatest thing at quarterback, he's been out since like week 6 with an orbital bone fracture that he suffered in practice or something like that. The Colts are down to one healthy quarterback. I think it's Ryan Leonard. Man, remember how dominant this Colts team was a few weeks ago? You know, it's a shame you can't make any trades, right? It's a shame the Eagles couldn't flip Tanner McKee over to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round draft pick, because I guarantee you the Colts will be listening. It's a shame. But yeah, big news out of Indy today. Dan Jones gone for the season on a torn ACL. Terrible news, man. Terrible. That's how micro thin this is, man, in the NFL. You're one ACL injury away from the end of your season, both the player and the team. So Dan Jones out for the remainder of the year and probably into doubt of when he'll start next season. What? It's December, right? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I mean, he'll be cleared to play by like week 1 next year. Obviously, probably won't start the season out as their starter. So bad timing, bad injury. Just terrible news for the Indianapolis Colts today as they lost their quarterback, Dan Jones. But getting back to the bigger picture here, the bigger story here, Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night. Are you ready for some football? Monday Night Football out there at SoFi against the Los Angeles Chargers in a must-win game. Simply put, there is no room for error. This is a game that they got to win. This is a game where they got to show every bit of that defending Super Bowl champion resilience and chutzpah and come out with a win any way they possibly can. And there's people out there that believe that they can. And I, you know, obviously we spent a lot of time this week dissecting the Bears game. We've gone over all the bad things. We've talked again in nauseum about the offense and about Kevin Padula, about Jalen Hurts, about all of them. And yet, out of all that talk, maybe it was venting at the time. I don't know. But, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, teetering or a lot of softening on some of the vibes and some of the takes as we are, you know, about 24 hours away from game time. And people out there have, you know, again, talked themselves into thinking the Eagles have a chance to win this football game. And, you know, maybe they do. I don't know. But I'm going to throw out the first question of the night. The first one. What have you seen that makes you think they're going to win this football game? You know, and I think that's not a totally off the wall question. We haven't played a game since last Friday. They're 0-2 in their last 2 games. Their offenses look pathetic, you know, worse each time out in those last 2 games. Their defense has given up a ton of yards. Now we're down Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson. Said Landon Johnson. Lane Johnson. So what makes you think they're going to win? Now, there has been some positivity. What's the positivity, Bunny, showing up in the Eagle locker room? Man, we're down to that. We're down to a big inflatable Easter decoration showing up inside the Eagle locker room to give them positive vibes. Right? The reports out of practice are it's been a synergy week. It's whatever the hell that word means. But it's been synergy this week at Eagle practice. Now, of course, this contradicts the claims from Saquon Barkley, who said earlier in the week that the vibe on the sidelines has been absolutely awful. They haven't been talking. There's no communication over there. Everyone's in their own boat. Is it Am I back? Am I here? I'm here. Okay. Is the positivity rabid or is there no communication? Somebody tell me which one it is. But we're going to find out tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Chargers. The Eagles suck. Star Wars coming right off the top rope. I love how you do that, man. I really do. I really do. Just kind of come up with the hard-hitting stuff, man. You know, the detailed stuff. Alexander Moretti is on the minor Lewin contract for the Phillies 2:11 p.m. What in the hell are you talking about? What? Come on, Star Wars, slow down, man. What are we talking about? We losing out. You know, that's an interesting point, Star Wars, and I brought that up. I've mentioned that. There is a chance, as really desperately pathetic as that sounds. And because, let's face it, if you're right and they lose out, obviously they're not going to make the playoffs at 8-9. But just think about some of the teams they're going to lose to on the road to losing out. You could hold your head up high against losing to the Chargers, 8-4 team, right? Yeah, they're possibly going to the playoffs, right? But then you're looking at the Raiders. How can you possibly look at yourself in the mirror after losing to the Raiders? Then you're going to follow that one up by losing to the Commanders, which is another one of those. How can you look at yourself in the face in the mirror? Then you're going to lose to the Bills, which, again, you can hold your head up high about that one. And then you'll wrap up the season losing to the Commanders. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if the Eagles fans could handle that. Can you imagine the levels of anger, depravity, just the level of that would be if they would lose out? I don't think they're going to lose out. But I do, and I have made the proclamation, Star Wars, and I'm going to stand by it, man. I think if they lose this game tomorrow, if they lose to the Chargers, I'll go as far as to say I don't think they're going to win another game. I really do. And I know that's a bold proclamation, man. That's a hot take. That's a hot take, clickbaity thing to say for me. If they lose to the Chargers tomorrow, then they're going to lose out the rest of the way. That's going far out there. Again, not because I have such confidence and faith in this football team, but it's because I have such a lack of confidence and faith in their opponents, with the exception of the Bills, the rest of the way out in the season. So, but this game against the Chargers, man, I really can't emphasize how important it is for the Eagles to win. And heading into the game, I mean, losing Jalen Carter is a real shot in the you know what. And he's officially listed as week to week. What I hear this morning on the AM Phillies show, I heard it on the replay. So again, I apologize for not tuning in live. Al said it was a procedure that he got done on his shoulders, not a surgery. Okay, Al, is that what we're doing now? Is that how we're getting to sleep at night? We're going to, nitpick over wording. Was he cut open? Was Jalen Carter at any point in this moment, was his shoulder cut into? If it was, it's a surgery. All right. I'm a procedure. Get the hell out of here, man. What are we doing here? What the hell are we doing? Now we can't even say surgery. If the band was cut open, it's a surgery. No, it was a procedure. All right. Well, anyway, he got his shoulders cut open. whether or not it was a surgery or procedure, I guess is up to the eye of the beholder. But huge news, man. For a defense that's already now starting to sort of slide into the crosshairs a bit based on their performance over the past 2 weeks. Now they're talking about the vanilla gorilla stepping in. Is it Robinson, the kid they drafted, who has not played a snap or has played minimal snaps all season? I know he didn't play any snaps last week because none of the 2025 Eagles draft picks played. But now we're expecting him to, he hasn't found his way onto the field legitimately, but he's got an opportunity to slide into the Jalen Carter void and try to provide at least some sort of support and help. How that works, yeah, we'll see. And it'll start tomorrow night. But I definitely have heard a softening of the stances on Eagle fans. Now, to Eagles fans' credit and to the Philadelphia sports media credit, which I never give, most of them are on the boat of the Chargers, and that scares me because that means the Eagles are going to win. But no, most of them are have jumped ship, and that's interesting. Most of them have jumped ship and are swimming to the nearby island, picking the Chargers to win. I personally am picking the Chargers to win as well. I know Kyle Quinn is picking the Eagles, which I think is interesting. But what faith and confidence that you've seen, or what latest development have you been privy to that makes you think this team is going to automatically erase the problems of especially the last 2 weeks, but to go further back, the whole season? And that was another thing that we kind of ran to ground this past week was, let's not be surprised and let's not use the excuse that, they've been off a little bit for the last 2 games. No. This has been an all-season problem. It's just now starting to get a little bit more serious and a little bit more costly because they're not getting those calls that they were getting earlier in the year. They're not getting that stop that they would get earlier in the year. They're not getting that turnover that they were getting earlier in the year that would sort of, tilt the game in their favor. The offense is playing the same as it's played since week 1. I mean, I'm going to give them that. They have been consistent. And again, I've been the biggest inconsistent rally cry person all season as well with the offense. But if you take a look at this thing macroly, if you look at the big picture, the offense has been extremely consistent, just consistently bad. So I may have to soften my stance on that because I've said it just like everybody else has. Over the last couple of games, the offense has been inconsistent, and that's not true. No, they've been consistently bad all season long. So I may have to soften my stance on that. Zach Wheeler at the Sixers game. Well, good for Zach, man. As baseball, I mean, he's not involved in any of the winter meeting discussions, I don't think. I don't think Zach Wheeler's getting dealt over the next couple of days as he's rehabbing from his own injury issues. Yeah, I saw that. The Commanders are officially gone. Eliminated today. Is it time to put the Commanders in bed and say, you know what? That was a nice little run last year, but there is no future. Nah, that's not necessarily. I think they made they gambled on Daniels. They gambled on him, and they put some veterans around him, thinking that's all he needed. But the veterans were just bad, and they got hurt, and then he got hurt. Perfect storm. The Commanders will be back next year. They'll probably try to rectify their path. And then, of course, going into the season, no one's going to give the Commanders any sort of respect or love or attention. They're going to have to earn it back, rightfully so. But I think the Commanders will be back in 2026. I really do. They got to change course and get younger instead of older. Go out this free agency and try to find players that are not going to break down, which I don't know how you do that. But yeah, the Commanders are out. And so now, out of the 4 teams that reside in the NFC East, 2 of them are eliminated. So the Eagles are literally in a 2-team division right now. Slay won't play another game. Yeah, the big story out of, Pittsburgh. Slay and the Steelers come to a mutual parting of the ways. He goes through waivers. Doesn't make it through waivers as the Bills put a claim in on him. But then when he gets to Buffalo, or prior reporting, says, I need to step back and think about whether or not I want to play football. So I'm not reporting. I'm taking a leave of absence to decide my future. And then a lot of Eagle fans have sort of turn that into, well, he wants to play here or nowhere else. I mean, I don't really care where he wants to play. And I don't really know the situation of the waiver. I don't know how or where the Eagles fell in this and if they even put a claim in on him. I know the reports are that they did. But I don't know if the Eagles were next in line from Buffalo. I don't know if Buffalo jumped them in the waiver claim thing. I don't know how that worked or how it works. But here's the thing. I mean, Slay was essentially cut by the Steelers, essentially, for bad performance. So bringing him here, which again is a body, but that's not going to make his play any better. It would have been just another move like bringing almost equivalent to bringing Brandon Graham back out of retirement. And you saw how much that's helped the Eagles out. So I never once really lost any sleep over the Darius Slay stuff. I didn't really care to have him. Yeah, I mean, are we thin out there at cornerback? 100%. But just because we're thin, a body is not anybody. It's got to be somebody who can actually play the position. And I know Slay would get in there, and everyone was like, well, he can rub his genie lamp and get some of that old Eagles magic back. But yeah, maybe. But I wasn't really, even if the Eagles did get him, I wasn't going to be like, okay, well, they're going to reverse the course of the season because of that. But Slay is taking a leave of absence as he ponders his next move in his football life. And yeah, Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter both out, and it is extremely, and the Jalen Carter stuff hit late week, like Thursday. So we really haven't had time to sort of cut into what the Eagles defense is going to look like without Jalen Carter. Now, Carter hasn't had, I don't think he's had an all-pro season. He's had a Pro Bowl season, but he hasn't had an all-pro season. And now we're going to take him out of there and put in Robinson or whoever to be the defensive tackle. And hopefully that either helps or mitigates the damage or puts a plug in the hole. I don't know, but what is that going to do now to the secondary? What is that going to do? And what is that going to do to the run? I mean, I know the Eagles weren't stopping the run game at all for anybody with Jalen Carter in there, but what is that going to do with the run now? And what is that going to do also with the pass rush, which again hasn't been all pro at all? Now it's going to put those cornerbacks maybe back on an island out there, and we're going to start seeing some of those old problems creeping up that we saw earlier in the season when it came to especially at CB2. So this could have a ripple effect across the entire defense, losing Jalen Carter. And again, a defense that's reeling to begin with. So, it just goes from bad to worse for the Eagles here as we get deeper into the season. But yeah, that's definitely the Jalen Carter stuff is tough, man. Tough. Lane Johnson needs to retire. I disagree, man. Nah, I ain't going to say that. No. I mean, what do you mean? Does he need to retire because of his performance? His performance is through the roof. I mean, he's the best right guard in maybe football history, right? I mean, I'm just saying, you don't get too many Lane Johnsons come around. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's definitely going to get his number retired by the Eagles. There's a question of whether or not Jason Kelce gets in the Hall of Fame. Right? There's a question about that. There's a question about Fletcher Cox getting in the Hall of Fame. There's questions about Brandon Graham getting in the Hall of Fame. There's no question that Lane Johnson's going to the Hall of Fame. Absolutely no question at all on the first ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe one of the top five ever to play that position. And even when he's not playing at 100%, or even if as he's aging, his skill level has gone down a bit, it's still head and shoulders better than most people at that position in the league. So as far as I'm concerned, as long as Lane Johnson wants to play, he has a spot on this football team. But the Eagles do got to get a little bit proactive and start looking at his replacement. I agree with you, because it looks like he might be teetering towards retiring now because of this injury. But to say that he needs to retire, it's the connotation that for some odd reason his skill level has deteriorated. I do not agree with that at all. I think he is again, a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the best that's ever played that position. So, but yeah, Something Michael Peppernick says Jason Kelce is a Hall of Famer. He might be, but I don't think he's a first ballot. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He might eventually get in there. But Lane Johnson's a first ballot Hall of Famer. In 5 years after he retires, he's going to show up for eligibility in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he's going to get in on that first ballot. And again, I'm not saying that Jason Kelce's not Hall of Famer, but you can make a debate whether he is or not. And Jason Kelce very might well get in the Hall of Fame, but he's not getting in on his first ballot. And listen, Brian Dawkins didn't get in on his first. Carmichael didn't get in on his first. I mean, the Hall of Fame is a Hall of Fame, but there is a level of Hall of Famers, and then there's the guys that got in on their first ballot, right? The slam dunk Hall of Famers, the no doubt about it. You're watching like excellence on the field day after day after day. Tom Brady's getting in on his first ballot. Peyton Manning got in on his first ballot. There's players that have separated themselves not only as Hall of Famers, but first-time ballot Hall of Famers. And that's what Lane Johnson is, in my opinion. Again, I'm not sitting here telling you that Jason Kelce's not a Hall of Famer, but he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Fletcher Cox is not a Hall. No, I don't think so. But, you can discuss it. It's a discussion. Is Fletcher Cox an Eagle Hall of Famer? I mean, do they put him in the Eagles Hall of Fame? It's a good and interesting question, right? Lane Johnson's an Eagles Hall of Famer, hands down. Jason Kelce's an Eagles Hall of Famer, hands down. Brandon Graham is an Eagles Hall of Famer, hands down. Is Fletcher Cox an Eagles Hall of Famer? I don't know. Hey, everybody. Joe, hell, what's up? If Edgar and James get in the Hall of Fame, then anyone gets in. Actually, that's right. Edgar and James did get in the Hall of Fame, didn't he? He had some, those 3 years are really dominant. Well, you can say the same thing about Kurt Warner. I mean, Kurt Warner burst into the scene, played 8 years? And, was so goddamn good, got into the Hall of Fame. Was it 8 years, right? He showed up in 2000, 2001. Came on the scene there. Was it 01 his first year? As like a 29, 30-year-old rookie. And played effectively for 9 years, 9 seasons, 8 seasons. I mean, that's a career, yes. A lot longer than Edgar and James's career. And I'm not putting Kurt Warner and Edgar and James in the same boat. I'm not. But you're right. James Bradbury won't ever. No, who said he would? Come on, Star Wars, stay with me, man. James Bradbury ever makes it a Hall of Fame, I'm hanging it all up, man. Star Wars, I'll tell you what, if James Bradbury gets in a Hall of Fame, I'm making you the CEO of the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And I'm going to go sweep floors somewhere. Because I really don't know what I'm talking about if James Bradbury gets in the Hall of Fame. Oof. But, I don't know, man. But the Eagles, we're twisting away from the topic. The Eagles, Monday Night Football, Chargers, must win. Star Wars made an interesting claim that if the Eagles, Star Wars said the Eagles are going to lose out the rest of the way. And I reminded him and everybody else that the Eagles' opponents the rest of the way after the Chargers are the Raiders, the Commanders twice, and the Bills. And if you lose out to the Raiders, Commanders twice, and then the Bills, how can you even hold your head up in public? How can you even go outside? I mean, again, you can stomach losing to the Chargers. You can stomach losing to the Bills. How can you stomach losing to the Raiders and the Commanders twice? Listen, and if that does happen, and I doubled down on what Star Wars said. I said if the Eagles lose tomorrow night against the Chargers, then I think they'll lose out. Because if they lose tomorrow night in the Chargers, with this season, with the positivity bunny, with synergy, whatever the hell that is, and with all this greatness coming out of Eagles practice this week, if they go out to LA tomorrow and play exactly the way they played all year long, which tells me that, which I've seen nothing to contradict that they won't. But if they do that and they lose, I have made the claim that they will lose out the rest of the way. Because if they lose tomorrow night, and if they lose in such a fashion that we've become really accustomed to lately, and it's the same thing, and if they lose tomorrow that way, this team is checked the hell out and they're done. And they're absolutely finished. They've given up. If that's what happens. Now, if they go out tomorrow night and it's back and forth and it's a clean game and it's a complete game and they're moving the ball, they're making stops, they're giving up yards, right? We scored touchdowns, Chargers scored touchdowns, really good football. The penalties are limited, and all of a sudden, they just come up short in a battle against a good football team, then yeah, there's some life there. But if they go out and they play like the way they played against the Bears, the Cowboys, and if the offense cannot figure themselves out by week 14, listen, I think it's safe to say the team has quit. And they're done. And they might as well just lose out, because at that point, there ain't no Super Bowl happening. And now you want to try to get the best draft pick you can. And 8-9 would be a friggin' better place to be picking than 10-7, making the playoffs and getting bounced out in the first round. So there's that to be accounted for too. Because Howie's got to be there's a reckoning for Howie trading away 4 draft picks since September. We got to get a high pick here in the first round. Got to address tight end. You got to address wide receiver. You got to address CB2. Got to address that offensive line. Woo! You got a lot of addressing to do this offseason. And they hire the pick, the better. But if they go out and lose tomorrow night the way they've been playing, again, if they battle their butts off, and it's a good football game, and they lose, at least it shows me they've woken up a bit. And I would have a lot more confidence in them going in against the Raiders, the Commanders twice, and the Bills. You know what I mean? And they would absolutely find a way into the playoffs at that point. But if they go out tomorrow night and sleepwalk through that game, it tells me they've quit. And it tells me that they've already given up on this season. So why not just lose out at that point? You get a higher draft pick. So we'll see. We shall see. Yes, they will be opened up here in about 5 minutes. Mike Lauro checking in. Tomorrow's definitely a must watch. Yeah, I mean, they all are. They are a must watch. But most important game of the season, a must win. Yeah, I would say it is. Kevin Patullo and the offense suck. I don't think Kevin Patullo sucks. There was not too long ago, and this was like 3 weeks ago, Kevin Patullo was on a list of some of the hottest young coordinators for head coaching positions in the NFL in 2026. Why do you think that, Star Wars? Again, we're so quick to throw this guy under the bus. But why do you think around the NFL, certain teams are viewing Kevin Patullo as a hot head coaching prospect? Why do you think? And it was, I thought it was going to be I thought the question or the answer I heard to that question was really good, because with the one-dimensionalism of the Eagle offense, with as many limitations that there are on Jalen Hurts, with Saquon Barkley having the type of season he's having, and the offensive line being as dinged up as they've been dinged up, they're still 8-4. And NFL executives and NFL people see that and actually applaud Kevin Patullo for the job he's done with such a depleted offense and such a limited offense. So we got to be careful there too. And then the other side of that, if you fire Kevin Patullo, here we go again with the new offensive coordinator again. And how much longer are we going to blame the coordinators for the problems with the offense? When are you going to start blaming Jalen Hurts? When are you going to start saying, A.J. Brown, your show is done, we got to move on? When are you going to, hey, maybe we overvalued the offensive line? Or you know what, Saquon, damn, can you give back that extension we gave you? Because it might not have been the greatest thing. We might have listened to DeMarco Murray too much on that one. When do you start blaming them? We've done the MattyB theory a few times already on the show. When you go back over the recent years to include the Super Bowl years of 22 and 24, and you look at all the factors that led into it, and all the changes that this team and this organization endured during those seasons. Losing offensive coordinators, gaining offensive coordinators, losing defensive coordinators, gaining defensive coordinators. You look at all that, all the turnover on the defensive side of the ball, players coming and going, draft picks coming and going. What's the one constant through all that time? It's been the offensive players that have been here the whole time. I think it's time to not take a blind look at, we just don't have a good enough offensive skill set with our players. I think it's time. And I'll double down on this one. If they lose tomorrow, and they lose in the same fashion that they've been losing all season long offensively, you're goddamn right it's time to sit Jalen Hurts and play Tanner McKee the rest of the way of the season. Why not? You've quit. You've already given up. Put the kid in. Let's see what he can do. Right? At very least bit, you drive up his trade stock or you drive it down. One or the other. But you got to do it. You got to do it. If the offense comes out flat again and they play like they've been playing over the past 2 weeks, and then more macroly, the way they played all season long, you got to sit Hurts the rest of the way. There's no more question about it. And I don't care if it hurts his feelings. I mean, he should be used to it. It's happened to him before. Maybe he'll quit and run to Oklahoma. They don't have a team out there, do they? Does Oklahoma have an NFL team? No, damn. All right. There's no transfer portal in the NFL. I understand that. But at the very least bit, you got to do that, man, just to see what you got, because you're going to have to move one of those commodities in the offseason. Either Tanner McKee or Jalen Hurts is getting traded this offseason, one or the other. Kyle Quinn also mentioned in the Birds Blast. If you missed the Birds Blast, I highly recommend you go back and tune in. But if they do collapse, and the definition of collapse for this context was get to the playoffs, one and done, right? If that happens, you got to fire one or the other, either Sirianni or Hurts. You got to do that. And I thought that interesting. I know there's been some call for Nick Sirianni's head, and it's getting louder, right? It's getting louder. And it's interesting that 7 weeks ago, you mentioned that you're going to get run out of here, man. What are you talking about? Fire him after winning the Super Bowl. Now it's a legitimate, like, you know what? Yeah, you might have to. Again, and I've been pretty consistent. I think Sirianni's a boob. I always did. Fire him, sure. Go ahead. Trade Jalen Hurts? Yeah, sure. Who cares? I don't care. But you got to send a message, right? The only thing that saves Nick Sirianni's job is that a Super Bowl run, not a Super Bowl championship, which I think that would be unfair to say that's the only thing that saves his job. But a Super Bowl run, getting to the championship game, winning the championship game, getting to the Super Bowl. Is that the only thing that saves Sirianni's job? I think you got to definitely look at it. And what do you do? Oh, man, it's going to be a fun offseason. Can't wait. Jalen Phillips is back. Yeah, I saw that. Last time I saw Jalen Phillips, he was being helped off the field. I don't think he knew what day it was or what time of the year it was or where he was as he suffered that concussion in that Bear game. Maybe it knocked something loose, right? Jalen Phillips, man, that boy was all over the place those first two games. Disappeared the last two. See, and we're going to need him to step it up in a major way against the Chargers. Bench Hurts, start Tanner McKee. It was a talking point all week, Star Wars. It was a talking point that was sort of like halfway down the list of talking points. But if they go out and struggle tomorrow night, and that offense does the same thing they've been doing, again, throughout the course of the season, it's going to be the number one topic all week long. You heard it here first. The number one talking point will be bench Jalen Hurts if they go out and perform the way they did against the Bears and Cowboys and the other teams they've faced. Hey, Ricky Deal, how are you? Matt, go Flyers. Yeah, tough one today, Rick. You had everything kind of set up for you with the Avalanche coming in off the back-to-back, right? They played in the Garden yesterday against the Rangers. They decided to go with Blackwood back-to-back for some odd reason. I've never seen that. Well, yeah, let me strike that. Sometimes teams do that who have an actual goalie, a number one. And I think this was the final game of their road trip. So I think they're off till Wednesday. So they rode their back-to-back goal. It reminded me of back in the day when we treated these players like men, and you let the goalie play back-to-backs. And then they brought him in, and the Flyers coming off of 3 days of rest, and we're completely flat. And honestly, if you said to somebody watching that game, one of these teams played yesterday, can you guess which one it is? I guarantee you about 80% would say the Flyers because of how they looked. Sam Ersson looked terrible again, giving up those easy goals. 2 of those goals were, we need them back. We need those goals back. And then the offense just didn't come to play. Just a really bad outing. Something's going on with the penalty kill. 7 goals in the last 3 games, shorthanded. I don't know what's going on right there. I really don't. I really don't. Kevin Padula is horrible, and any GM that says he's worthy of head coach in the NFL, there's delusional. Then the former Eagles OC, Brian Johnson, and the Eagles were 10-1, and he didn't get the head coaching job. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I'm don't get mad at me, Mike. I'm just telling you what I've heard. I'm not the one starting the rumor. But inside of some NFL circles, they're seeing what he's done with this offense, and they're actually impressed because of how one-dimensional it is. And you see, after not having Saquon come anywhere close to what he was in 2024, the fact that they've been able to squeeze out 8 wins, they're actually applauding the effort done by the coordinator. Again, we don't know Michael Kaepernick. What's going on inside that locker room? You don't know how much of that playbook is off limits to Jalen Hurts because of whatever reason that it's off limits to. They could be operating on a set of about 12 plays and have to get creative with those 12 plays. We broad brush this stuff all the time in this town. Like, we know, right? We know what's going on. We know the letter of the law, what's going on. We don't. We don't know what the dynamic in that locker room is. We don't know the dynamic of the quarterback's limitations. We don't know the level of injury that offensive line is suffering. They may be running an offense that is as conducive as it can be to the overall health of this team and skill set of this team. Again, I'm not advocating for Kevin Padula. Obviously, it's not been the greatest, right? But when was the last time anybody heard about Tom Brady's offensive coordinators? I guarantee you, Tom Brady could have changed offensive coordinators every season for his entire career. Nobody would have known who the hell it was or cared because the player's skill set rose above the scheme. And right now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know everything. You don't. I don't. I could be completely wrong. You could be completely right. But the question is, or the fact remains, we don't know all of it. There's 2 sides to every story, 2 sides to every coin. I have a hard time believing Kevin Padula is that friggin' clueless. I'm sorry. He's a grown man who went to college, and just out of a matter of being pride, self-respect, dignity, you'd want to go out there and show people that you know what you're doing. But at the end of the day, he's not the one actually executing the plays now, is he? I'm just saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. But I'm not going to throw him under the bus when I don't have the whole story. I'm not going to do it. Star Wars report is 10-0 over 10-0 Houston. Well, Michael, I agree with you. Matt on the phone lines. Yeah, what are we? 50 minutes in. Yeah, let's do it. It's getting later and later every show. Phone lines are now open. Your little thing you think should pop in there. Was Brian Johnson clueless? So you're telling me that in 2022? Yeah. No, he wasn't. I don't think he was. Again, how can I get mad at seeing 2022? Is this 2020? Johnson was 24, right? No, 23. He was 23, right? No, I don't think he was clueless. Take a caller, Kaepernick. What do you mean? Do I think he's clueless?
Now, I was talking to a buddy of mine who's here. I had to tell him to be quiet. So listen, I got a question for you, Matty. Was Brian Johnson clueless when they were 10-1?
No, I never said he was.
No. I'm saying Kevin Petula is clueless. Brian Johnson is clueless. What do they both have in common? What's the one person they have in common that they're connected to the hip to?
Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni.
No, well, beyond Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. Who? I'll bet you one thing that Nick Sirianni, because this was said last year, that he could override play calls and everything. I guarantee he's calling plays this year.
Well, the reports are now that he's going to get more. He was more involved at practice this week in the offensive play calling. Listen, and again, it goes back to my point, Kaepernick, about I don't know. We don't know everything. We don't know what's going on inside those locker rooms. We don't know the conversations. We don't know what's happening with the quarterback, but we do have eyes, right? And our eyes are telling us there's something for some odd reason is not clicking. Why aren't they changing? Why aren't they creating some sort of deception? Why aren't they doing anything innovative? That's the one thing we can definitely see with our own eyes. But find out, to know why, we don't have that answer. We're not privy to that side of the coin, you know?
Yeah, we know the offensive line shambles this year. You know, it is. Okay, we got that down. But how do you counter that? You why don't you put guys in motion? Why don't you, get the defense back on their heels a little bit? Put two running backs at the same time. That don't fall on Jalen Hurts.
No, it doesn't.
None of that falls on Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah. See, maybe not directly, but indirectly it does. There's an install about the offense that's in there, whatever that install might be, motion, non-motion, pre-motion, post-motion, whatever. But that install is in there to benefit the quarterback. It's to set the quarterback up. So again, I am not anointing Jalen Hurts king of the world, all right, as a quarterback. And I'm also not anointing him friggin' Ryan Leaf either. I'm staying away from both of those extremes. But here's the thing. After 2022, that MVP season that he had, and he should have won the MVP that year. But after that season, it looks like the NFL figured him out. And it looks like the Eagles have not been able to, for whatever reason, counter punch what the NFL found out about Jalen Hurts. So I don't know if the offense is built for him to understand, to process as fast as he can. I don't know.
Yeah, but even with all of Saquon's greatness last year, all the success he had, the offense had motion to it. It had it. You know what I mean? It outside of Saquon, they did. You see wide receivers in motion. You see nothing. It's a dead fish out there. I mean, listen. Here's the deal. If it's that bad, then they got to clean house. It's everything. A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Sirianni. But clear it all. The only two people I would keep is Stoutland and Fangio because here's the thing. You're not going to get another offensive line coach like Stoutland. So you might as well keep him around. And the guy's a damn good one. He has one off year and people want to drop the big old shovel on him already.
And don't forget, Stoutland's also the run game coordinator. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So what's happened to him this year?
I think they know that the offensive line ain't getting off. I mean, is it me or does Landon Dickerson look like he's about 500 pounds out there with bum knees?
They all look slow and tired. They all do. I 100% agree with you. And I've been hearing the Super Bowl hangover. I mean, we're week 14 and we're talking about the Super Bowl. Come on, man. I don't buy that. Were they tired last year? Yeah, but no. That should have no effect on them in 2025. And if it is, then someone needs to get into their off-season training programs and find out what they're not doing, because that's
well, here's the last ridiculous thing. Yeah, this is the last thing. If Jalen Hurts is coming out and saying that he don't want to be known as a running quarterback, then this is where Nick Sirianni has to play head coach. Howie has to play GM, get this guy into the office and say, listen, you're either going to do this, you got to give him, he's got it, because that's a big part of his game is them RPOs.
Yeah.
No,
it's
you
absolutely.
can't run them. It's like when Rich Kotite did to Randall Cunningham when he wanted to make him a pocket quarterback and blew his knee out.
It doesn't work.
I don't. Now Randall did learn how to become a pocket quarterback a little bit better in Minnesota. Don't get me wrong. He did
a little bit too.
Well, yeah, but he had Chris Carter for Randy, but you know what I'm saying. He learned. He didn't. He figured it out. Jalen needs to do that. He's not. He's not Michael Vick. When I say that, he don't have the talent of Michael Vick. He don't have Lamar Jackson talent. So he can't sit in the pocket and just throw lightning bolts of footballs down the field. And everything. Does he have a decent deep ball? He does. Yeah. Not horrible. Yeah. But they got to get the defense thinking. And I'm going to stand by this before I get off. I said in the last time we talked. For some reason, it's like when a pitcher is tipping pitches. Somehow, this defense knows just about everything they're doing over there. Something's getting tipped off. There's got to be some type of the way the offensive line's leaning, a running back, a wide receiver, the quarter, something. They're catching on to it. Well, it's like there's no surprise in what they're doing.
CJ, DJ, KJ, PJ said it without saying it, and I think it came out of the Bear game as well, is that when A.J. Brown lines up in a certain way, they know the play.
Well, he should know. He played with the guy for, off and on for what?
Right, but
2-3 years.
The NFL defenses know when A.J. Brown gets in this certain formation, they know what play they're running.
Well,
and you're right. That's
we'll find out.
Offensive coordinator. I agree.
And check this out. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't think Dallas Goedert's going to catch more than 3 balls because they're going to have to kiss his, over there, A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown, so the Eagles are 0-2, and A.J. Brown's had 2 good games and hasn't complained.
Of course. No, you're right.
So
over 100 yards in both games, and they've lost both, but he hasn't said a word. You're right.
He don't open because he don't care. All he wants, he got his money, he got his Super Bowl ring, and he don't care now.
I agree with you, Papernick. Listen, we'll talk Wednesdays the next show because I got post game stuff going on the rest of the week. So we'll be back on Wednesday. All right, man. Papernick, you there? All right, Mike Papernick. What happened to him? All right, next caller, Joe Hale. How you doing? Joe, you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. But
well, I'm telling you, Joe. Let me put you in the back. Let me
hear you.
Hang on. I'm going to remove you. Ricky, can you hear me? Okay, Ricky, I'm going to put you in back. I'm going to put you backstage. Okay, don't go nowhere. All right, Joe. All right, Joe, listen, it's you. Ricky can hear me, and now I can't see it. So I'm going to go to Ricky, Joe, okay? Let me get this. All right, Ricky Deal. What's up, man?
And go Flyers.
Did you watch the game today, Ricky? Were you frustrated? You weren't? I was frustrated. I was very frustrated. This game to me today, they had such an opportunity to, maybe not win, but definitely play better than they did. And they just, I don't know. I didn't like the effort today. Colorado's coming off the back-to-back. They played yesterday in the Garden. They went back with Blackwood. You had an opportunity. I don't know why the Flyers went with Urson today. You had 3 days off. I don't know why Vladar wasn't in there, but I thought they missed an opportunity today, Ricky. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I thought they missed an opportunity. Okay. Eagles, Chargers, Ricky. Eagles winning or Chargers winning?
Eagles.
Ricky, you're you're only the second person I've talked to this week that's taken the Eagles. That's interesting. It's interesting, Ricky. Ricky's going to stay with him to the very end, man. You are the man, Ricky. You're the man. All right, man. We'll talk Wednesday, Ricky, is when I'm back. No final word tomorrow. No final word on Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday. We got the Eagles post game tomorrow night, and then I got Flyer post game on Tuesday. So make sure you're there for Flyers post game, and then make sure you're back on Wednesday. Okay, brother?
Mhm.
All right, man. Ricky, you have a good night, man. Ricky Deal, my main man. Love me some Ricky Deal. Star Wars says, and people call Hurts a running back. Nobody calls him a running back. That's the problem. Needs to be one. Now, I don't know about being a running back, but yes, if the reports are that Jalen Hurts does not, if they're correct, and he does not want to be a running quarterback, then I'm sorry, man. That's like 60% of your skill set, and you ain't doing nothing for me. And it does really sort of defeat the purpose of an RPO. I mean, for a guy that wants to be allegedly a pocket passer, he sure as hell processes defense slow as hell. And he doesn't trust his instincts, can't throw anything through a window. I don't know, man. I hope that's wrong. I really do. I hope that report is incorrect, and I hope that's just wrong. So, all right, Joe, can you hear me now? No. Joe, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes. I don't want to talk Eagles.
Okay.
I want to talk Jeff Kent getting into the Hall of Fame.
Saw that.
So, I love how Carlos Delgado is going to be the next one to get in next year.
On the, was it the contemporary
Yeah.
ballot? See, this is the same ballot that Dale Murphy was on, which I really wish Dale Murphy would have gotten in.
Yeah.
I think Dale Murphy deserves it more than Jeff Kent and Delgado.
I love how Barry Bonds only got like 1%.
Oh, yeah, man. He's so not, he's never getting
But,
it.
I want to talk Phillies and then we'll talk Eagles. I read a story. I was talking to a Phillies fan. I went to a wrestling last night, and I even brought it up to the Gobbler was live on TikTok at like 12:30 this morning. But that's what he wants to do. Cody Bellinger, 3 years, $30 million. Would you do it?
3 years, 30, I do it. But he's not. He's going to ask for more than that. He's going to look for at least 60.
I don't think they go. I think Schwarber goes to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you saw the thing. They've allegedly offered him a 4-year deal somewhere north of $100 million.
Yeah, I've seen that. But I also heard the Phillies are still talking to other free agents.
Oh yeah.
I think the JT is going to be announced Wednesday. 3-year deal for JT.
Well, JT is also linked to the Reds, and I heard he's linked to the Yankees. I heard that come out about an hour ago. The Yankees are making a push.
So, someone tweeted on Elliot True Parks. I don't know if you heard of him, of course.
No, I know who he is.
On 94. Tweeted, be surprised. Jake Myers is a name popping up. And he's trade. And who is it? Alec Boehm's gone apparently. Really close to being on. Up to Seattle with Matt Strom.
Seattle with who?
Seattle's talking to the Phillies for Alec Boehm and Matt Strom.
Ooh, that's an interesting deal.
Have
you heard about who they want in return?
Prospects. The Phillies want prospects. I wouldn't be surprised if they go around and get another deal because there's this catcher, but he was just up. And the Phillies are talking to the Nationals about Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, well, he's a hot name right now. His name's being floated around everywhere, and I'd move mountains to get him. You could slide him in at number 3 right now. In this rotation as it is, without Wheeler, bump Nola down to 4. That would really help if we could make a move for him. But let's go back to the Mariner thing real quick because I find that interesting. Because I was going to bring this up later on tonight, or maybe even like on Wednesday. But the trading prospect of trading Nick Castellanos doesn't sound too appealing to other teams. It doesn't. Let's face it, 18, 20 million, whatever he's getting paid. But if you sweeten it up and you add, like, for your, as you're saying, Alec Boehm and Matt Strahm, that makes that trade a lot more palatable. And that makes probably a team go, you know what? Yeah, I could do something like that. But it scares me because if we're gonna, like, if I was a team and I heard the Phillies dangle me say Nick Castellanos and Bryson Stott, I might listen. You know, I might listen to that.
The way they were talking, is that the Phillies get Marte, which he is one of the team now.
What's that?
He is Marte is on the top of the Phillies radar. He said he would waive his no trade clause for Phillies, Toronto, or Boston.
So Marte is a player that's going to cost you somebody out of the system. It's going to cost you a Crawford. It's going to cost you a Painter. It's going to cost you a Miller. It's going to cost you somebody like that. And this is also, it is. They're not taking Castellanos for.
No, I heard it was going to be a Stott and a little double-A pitcher.
Well, let's do that. Except for Gene Cabrera, don't trade him. But Stott and anybody else, yeah. Again, I'm in. I know there's a facet to this trading and stuff that we really didn't talk about on the show, and it scares me because it's Dave Dombrowski, and Dave has sort of been known for blowing up minor league systems, and he has not done it that much with the Phillies during the trade deadline. But in the back of my head, I was thinking heading into this offseason, I'm like, you know what? He really hasn't laid waste to the minor leagues yet, and this might be the offseason where he has no choice because he's got to mix things up, and he's got to still win right now. So you could see the minor league system get like nuked this winter.
Would you do it?
No.
For a proven winner?
No. For a proven winner in Kel Marte?
No. Say if you can go out there and get a stud, would you go out and get a stud?
Who's the stud? Because I can sign a stud. I don't need to trade for one.
Mackenzie Court. Duran from Boston, the center fielder.
Well, I wouldn't be so Duran. I'd give up some like second tier prospects. I wouldn't be giving up I'd give you like a Gene Cabrera, or I give you maybe a Dante Nore or a friggin' Gage Wood. I'd give you that for Duran. Somebody that's not going to like affect anything for at least a couple more seasons. Mackenzie Gore. So that's a harder one for me to answer because I'd probably listen and ask what they would want. But I'd definitely be listening to that.
Also, Ken Roosevelt brought up a name for the Phillies, Jake Myers out of Houston.
Yep.
And it would only cost Rojas and other pieces.
Rojas is fine. The other pieces part is what I want to hear. No, I mean, listen. What? They start today, right? The winter meetings start today, tomorrow, something like that, like now. So hopefully we start. Maybe we wake up to some news. I don't know, but I want something to start, man. I want to start talking about, like, I don't want to talk about rumors no more. I want to talk about he's coming, he's going, he's going, he's going, he's coming. I want to talk about that because I'm very interested to see what Dombrowski's direction is for this offseason. And this will be the good start point here at the winter meetings.
You asked Ricky if the Eagles win. I think they win, but it's going to be a 10-point win. The question for me, does Hubert play?
Does Herbert play?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's starting. He's going to go. It's the breaks in his non-throwing hand, but yeah, he's going. Now, does he finish? I don't know.
Eagles won by 10.
So Kyle Quinn had the Eagles winning by 10 as well. No, they had to win by 3. You, Kyle Quinn, and Ricky are the only 3 people that I've talked to that are picking the Eagles to win this week. And the only 3 people that I've heard are picking the Eagles this week.
They put up points, but defensive points, a defensive touchdown.
It's going to, yeah, you're right. That might have to happen.
Marcus Epps.
Marcus Epps is going to do a pick 6?
Yeah.
All right.
A win is a win.
Well, no kidding. We've been talking about that all season. All right, Joe. Listen, no final word tomorrow. No final word on Tuesday. We won't be back till Wednesday.
Who's hosting it tomorrow? After the game, is it Mike and Al?
The post game?
Yeah.
It's Mike and somebody. It might be Mike and me. It might be Mike, me, and Al. It might be Mike and Al. I'm not sure.
All right.
But it's Mike. Absolutely. And don't forget, we got a new show starting tomorrow to fulfill your Pittsburgh Sports Jones. Another Pittsburgh sports show. What's that?
Good. I missed the Friday show, so.
Okay.
Your Friday show.
Oh, you missed mine? Yeah. Yeah, it was all right. I felt bad that it was a rough week last week. Missed a couple of shows, and we didn't have anything scheduled for Friday. So
the outcome's for this Friday, right?
This Friday, the Philly Friday Frenzy or Friday Philly Frenzy.
I can't wait for it.
All right. Well, listen, Joe. Thanks for tuning in, man. We'll talk later in the week. All right.
Yep.
Joe Hale. Yeah, big week on the network. 2 shows premiering this week. The Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program starting tomorrow right here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. It'll be seen every Monday and Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then on Friday at 9, Big Al in the Philly Friday Frenzy. We're back on Friday nights, which we have had we vacated Fridays for a while. We're back, so we can't wait. And we're looking forward to that. So phone lines aren't open if you want to tune in, if you want to catch in, but we're going to keep rolling with the show. Let's do our of the night segment, and we know there's nothing really to talk about. It's like the hot stove. There's nothing verified other than what we talked about the other night. I know there's been some moves, but nothing official yet. So we're probably going to belay with the hot stove tonight, and maybe by Wednesday we could talk about some real stuff. But let's do the of the night. All right, indeed. It is the other night segment, and we are still talking Flyers prospects. We're just doing one tonight. We're not doing NHL draft. We're not breaking the NHL draft down tonight, but we will do a Flyer prospect. And tonight, we'll continue rolling with some of those bona fide prospects, not those tweeners, not those contract dump guys. No, but a guy that we have some faith and confidence and some hope that he can be a contributor to this team at some point in the very near future. And it's going to challenge not only my hockey sense with this guy, but my name pronunciation. There's a couple, for the most part, the Flyers players, and this is not, I'm not trying to defame them, but for the most part, they got pretty easily pronounceable names, but not this guy. This guy's name has befuddled me since he joined the organization a couple seasons ago, and it continues to befuddle me now. And here we go with our player of the night, our prospect of the night, Flyers 2024 4th round draft pick, Hiki Ruhoininen. All right. If he ever makes it to the Flyers, I'll make sure I have his name down. Pat. This was from when he played with the Dubuque Fighting Saints of the USHL. He has moved on. He's in college hockey now. He plays for, you'll never guess where this guy's playing. In a million years, when I saw it today, I almost freaked out. He's playing for a Harvard. That's right. NCAA with Harvard. He's up there in Boston he's going to Harvard University. Plays for Harvard. The Flyers drafted him in the 4th round of the 2024 draft. He's a two-way center who drives play, pushes the pace, and has some power forward qualities. He uses explosive weight shifts to beat defenders to the inside, outworking opponents for body positioning and using contact as an advantage. Is there a red flag about going up to the Ivy League? I don't know, man, but hey, it's Division I. I'll give you that, and it's a higher level than the SHL where he came from, or I'm sorry, not SHL, but the Finnish Hockey League, and then he came to the USHL, and now he's up in Harvard playing for them. And so far, aren't they the Crimson, the Harvard Crimson? Is that their name? I don't even know, man. Who the hell plays for a Harvard? Is that where Fitzpatrick played? Or was that Yale? He played for Harvard, right, Fitzpatrick? I just had his stuff. I was just looking at it. But so far through, I was literally just looking at, where did it go? So far through 11 games with Harvard, he's got a goal, 4 assists for 5 points and a -4. So first year at the NCAA level. We'll see whether this, obviously, he's either going to come back for a second season next year or perhaps enter the transfer portal himself and maybe try to get to a higher level play within the NCAA. But hats off to the young man, the Finnish player who came to the States to play for the Du Bois Fighting Saints of the USHL, and then played some international hockey for Finland last season, and now has moved on to Harvard. So not only is he probably really concerned about his playing career, but he's definitely concerned about his education. So whether we see something from the center here in the next, you're not going to see much from him over the next couple years, but continued higher level of play, continued development. He is 6'2" and 205 pounds. He fits the dynameters that I'm looking for when it comes to his center. But a young player, 18 years old. So we'll see what the Flyers can do with him, or 19 years old. We see what the Flyers can do with him as he continues to maneuver through Harvard in the Ivy League. And there's your, I bet you that's a trivia question. How many Flyers prospects have played for an Ivy League school? And we got one. So you were here when we broke ground on that one. But here we go. So which prospects get us Quinn Hughes? I would definitely say that it would cost Porter Martone, Jet Lachenko. As a matter of fact, here's the deal. And I've actually worked this trade out in my mind. I am prepared right now. If you want to, if MPTR 1783, you want to be the Devils GM, I'll be Danny B. Here we go. I will send you Porter Martone, a 2026 first-round draft pick, a 2027 first-round pick, and a 2028 second-round pick for Quinn Hughes and your 2026 second-round pick. Make that happen? Oh, that's right. Yeah, Vancouver. Forgot. I already got him going as the Devils. So that's my. Don't forget, Vancouver wants to get young. Vancouver wants to essentially start a rebuild. So I'm offering you Porter Martone, who should be NHL ready within the next 2 years. I'm offering you Martone, my 2026 first round, my 2027 first round, and my 2028 second round. That's what I would do. I do it if you can sign him. Yeah, well, that's a big part of it too. And I think this trade and the Hughes sweepstakes, I don't think the Flyers are going to win out. And it's interesting because they're going to have to find somewhere. Not only they got to continue to develop and find better offensive talent within and somewhere, but now they got to replace Forrester. They're not going to be able to continue. And you saw today. I mean, I don't know. I just so demoralizing today. But I say you try to find a way to make this deal happen if you're Danny B, because I'd even toss in lieu of a. Okay, here's my counter offer. If it's too much to sort of put the team's future on the line with the draft picks, Porter Martone, Jet Lachenko, my 2027 first round pick, and a second round pick in 2028. I'd even do that. I'd do that in a heartbeat. I'd offer that trade. I'd offer. And I think if I'm Vancouver, I'd do it. I'd do it. Harvard at Princeton, January 3rd, Hobie Baker Arena. Was just checking out Tick's. Great place to watch the game for 17. Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't. I haven't caught much Ivy League hockey, but now you got a reason to go to watch one of the Flyer prospects play, and yeah, do what he's got to do. So, yeah, I mean, $17. How the hell can you beat that? You're right. Absolutely. I'm not going to knock that at all, man. Do it. Do it. Yeah. He wants to go to New Jersey to play. Oh, I know. Yeah, and I got ahead of myself because that's where I think he's going to end up, in New Jersey. I honestly believe that, but I would be uberly aggressive to try to get him if I was Danny B. We need something to sort of. We need a legitimate scorer. We need a kick in the ass offensively. And yes, you build from within. And the NHL is probably the sport where you have to be good at drafting because that's the only real way you build winners in the NHL is through drafting. Look at the friggin' Avalanche. It's very, very rarely do you trade or sign free agents and build a winning, like a sustained winning environment. Yeah, you can get lucky 1 year, but you've got to be good drafting. And the Flyers, just to me, I'm not saying that Porter Martone, I don't think Jetlachenko is working out. I think Jetlachenko is a bust. I did not want him picked at 13th overall. I thought he was a mid-second round pick at the time. I still believe that. I think Jetlachenko is a bust. And the faster the Flyers move off of him, the better. Because eventually they're going to get stuck with his ass. I think he's a bust. And if you can move off of Lachenko, you do it. Martone might be the real deal. We don't know yet. He's having a pretty good first year with Boston. Not Boston. Is it Michigan State? Michigan? Where the hell is that? He's the real deal. I think he's going to be the real deal. I think he's a better real dealer than Lachenko. But we need a kick in the ass, man. We need a bona fide offensive player now. And I really do. Really believe that. How about Mitch Coffin a 1? Straight up? Yeah. A heartbeat. Mitch Coffin a 1 in 26 or 27? Yeah, I do it. In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yep. Yeah, I do that. I do it. I would do it. But, all right. Good stuff, man. Good Flyers conversation. I like that. All right, we got one more segment, and we're going to wrap things up here on the program. Again, if you're tuning in for the very first time, we are the Final Word with MattyB here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, and this is our schedule for the upcoming work week. Tomorrow night, we got a brand new show kicking off on the network, the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program, followed by the Birds Flyby as Eagles-Chargers, Eagles postgame. Tuesday night, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk will return as they will be on Mondays and Tuesdays at 7. Props, locks, and parlays at 8, and then Flyers, Sharks, Clear the Ice postgame. I have that postgame on Tuesday. The Pittsburgh Sports Desk will be back on Wednesday, and me, the Final Word, will return on Wednesday night. Typically, we are Sunday through Thursday, but because of postgame obligations and postgames, I will not be on tomorrow or Tuesday. And then our full schedule on Thursday, the premiere of the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al on Friday, and more Clear the Ice on Saturday, and we start it all over again on Sunday. So there you have it on the network this week. Anything that you're looking for, you can find it. Is there live tomorrow? Not this show, no. There will be a post-game show. Do you like the Chargers tomorrow? I think the Eagles win this one indoors on turf. They usually play well. I like the Chargers tomorrow, yes. 24-21 or something, 27-24. I just don't have confidence right now in the Eagles MP. And I know there's everyone's kind of softened a little bit, but I still don't feel that this offense is going anywhere. I know with the positive bunny rabbit and synergy and all that, maybe I'm talking on the other side of my mouth, but I don't look at the problems over the last 2 weeks offensively as the reason. I look at the problems offensively the last 13 weeks. And I'm not saying the Eagles can't win. I'm just saying I don't think they will. And tomorrow night is a huge game for this team this season. A loss is only 8-5, and they're still very much alive in this thing. But tomorrow, a loss, especially the way they've played, if they can go out and they continue to play like that tomorrow and they lose, tells me this team has quit. And it's going to be a debacle of the rest of the season. So I got the Chargers winning tomorrow. Is there a Penn State show after the bowl game? Penn State got a bowl? Did they get one? Are they going to the meaningless.com bowl? I mean, what bowl game did Penn State get? But if they do, I'm going to make them do one. Yeah, there's going to be Happy Valley Huddle after a Penn State bowl game if they get one. Is Penn State going to be as ballsy as Notre Dame and say, you didn't pick us for the BCS, so we're not playing in any damn bowl? Penn State should submit that letter to NCAA. They should be like, what about us? Why didn't we get in the BCS? Man, we're 6-6. That showed character. We lost our head coach, our starting quarterback, and we still finished at 500. Come on now, man. Oh, so, Charger offensive line is in shambles. Well, yeah, so is the Eagles. And so is the Eagles defensive line. Listen, I'm not going to say is this a game they can win? Yeah, absolutely. But based on what we've seen, it's definitely a game they can lose. It should be a mildly entertaining football game, if not for the bad play. Hopefully they find a way. Tomorrow Mike is going, yes, he is, for the Eagle post game. They're playing Clemson. In what bowl game? What's the bowl game? Teams are declining bowl appearances left and right. Rutgers just declined. I don't know why Rutgers would. I mean, you know what? Well, bowl games mean more money to the school, right? I mean, does Rutgers feel like they're not worthy? And if that's the case, good for Rutgers, man. Good for Rutgers. I know just about everybody gets in one, and I hear you. And it's almost to the point now where they should just eliminate them all and just keep the BCS, whatever bowl games that's what they should do. Blow up the BCS to about 20 teams, instill those 20 bowls, right? And that's it. Or 19, I guess, because you can't call the championship game is the championship game, right? So keep 19 bowl games, get rid of everybody else, and just say, hey, if you didn't make the BCS, you don't get a bowl game. I would be cool with that. Maybe it makes these schools like spend more money on players every offseason. I don't know. But good for Rutgers, man. If they decline the bowl because they don't feel like they're worthy. I like that. December 27th versus Clemson. What's the bowl? What is the bowl? Rumor was Pitt versus PSU in the Pinstripe Bowl. Oh, the one in Yankee Stadium? It's going to be Clemson. Oh, okay. So Clemson versus Penn State at the Pinstripe. Okay. Pinstripe Bowl. All right. Actually, that's a pretty cool bowl game. That's a really cool bowl game. Yankee Stadium, Penn State? Yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck. But yes, if that's the case, and if that's official, I have not checked. I know that they broke, the BCS broke a couple hours ago. I didn't get a chance really to deep dive that. Saw Miami got into the BCS. Obviously, saw Notre Dame did not, and they issued a letter of declination for any bowl game. And then I did not see Penn State had gotten a bowl game. So you're hearing it. Penn State versus Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium on December 27th. You hear that, Mike Lauro? You got one more left. Merry Christmas to you. And Happy New Year. Penn State has no players left to play Pinstripe. Yeah. No, they don't got anybody left. I'll watch. Listen, it's funny because college football, and we'll wrap the show up here with this, and then we'll get into our final segment. But, college basketball has already started. High school basketball is getting ready to start here this week in my area with some games. I know in some other areas it's already begun. I remember when I was in high school, we played basketball. Thanksgiving was tournaments and stuff. But, college football's it's really short, 12 weeks, 12 games, 14 weeks, something like that. It's a real short season, man. That's really short. I would be in favor of pushing up the start to mid-August. College football is to start in mid-August. People in this country are jonesing for football by mid-August. You know what I mean? We're rabid for football by mid-August. And that would be perfect. You still get some summertime. Majority of the season we played in nice weather. I'm telling you, man, we should push up the start of college football to about mid-August and continue to play it out to when it's played out. I think that'd be better. I do. There you hear. Matty B is pushing for the NCAA to start in mid-August instead of late August. But all right, let's get to our final segment of the night, my favorite segment of the day. Yes, indeed. MattyB's card review. We wrap every show with the MattyB card review. We take one of my many sports cards that I have in my collection, a collection that spans roughly 25,000 cards and growing every day, by the way. And we just have some fun with it. We break it down nostalgic, financial, intrinsic, any kind of value that you might be able to find. Maybe it lodges or dislodges a feeling, a memory of your youth or whatever. And we have some fun with it. Tonight we're going back. We're staying in the digital age. We were stuck on, and I made a promise that during the holidays or during the Christmas season, I would be purely Topps holiday cards. But I'm breaking off of that tonight. We're going to stay with Topps, but we're getting out of Christmas. We're going back to 2018, and we're going to talk about one of the cards from the 2018 Topps All-Star Games insert that was part of the update series. Every year, the update series has the All-Star card insert in it, where players that were in the All-Star game of that season are featured in update series as an insert. And tonight we're going with the card of a very prominent, sought-after catcher in this game. Really good player and plays for the Kansas City Royals, and that is Mr. Salvador Perez. And this is his 2018 Topps All-Star Game card from the update series. And it's also a gold. I don't know what I guess you would call it the gold. And every card that came out of the 2018 set that looked like this with this background, the gold and the little lines there, kind of like almost like the sun is shining through, was a serial numbered card. And this is a serial number 1289 out of 2018. So this is the 1,289 card out of 218 that were made as a serial numbered card. And anytime you pick up a serial numbered card, it's worth something financially. And this is a good player. It's only worth about $5, but still, it's worth something. And I just love the way that 2018 Topps, they did that with all their serial numbered cards, or this specific like sort of line of cards. And it's a good young catcher. And yeah, so we're going with one of my many serial numberized cards, and this is the 2018 Salvador Perez from the Topps update series of 2018, the All-Star Game insert set of cards that came out with the update series. Every year when Topps does their update series, they throw in a All-Star Game card every year, because obviously the update series is the series that captures all the stuff that happened during that actual season. So this was his All-Star card, and it's a serial numbered All-Star card, 1,289 out of 2018. And pretty cool design card. Again, Topps using its 2018 as pretty much the entire front of the card is dedicated to the card. Not much border, no border really. No effort was spent on border design or border graphics. It was all the card. And here we go. Pretty cool looking card for a very good young catcher. And here it is in its physical form. As you can see, I'll flip it over to the back so you can see the serial number right there. See it there on the right-hand side. I'll pull back. Maybe it's better there, but there you go. So if you have sports cards, go back through them and make sure you don't have serial numbers on them. If you do have serial numbers on them, make sure they're put away specially, because those cards tendency to have more worth than the others. So there you have it. Tonight's card review, the 2018 All-Star Game card from the Topps Update Series, US 76, Salvador Perez of 2018, serial numbered. So $5. Yeah, I could probably squeeze about $5 out of that card. But again, it's not always about the money. It's about the coolness too. But there you have it, folks. Good show tonight. Over an hour and a half. Man, we went long. Covered a lot. And we set up for a great week here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Here is your Clear the Ice schedule for the week. I will have you Tuesday. Mike has you Thursday. Mike's back on Saturday, and I am on Sunday. We went over the schedule. We got the Birds Flyby tomorrow. We got it all starting off tomorrow. A great week coming in for the network. Cannot wait to get it going. And I guess I did get it going tonight here with the final word. So we will talk again on Wednesday, folks, on the final word. I will see you again on Tuesday on Clear the Ice. Until then, you guys take care. You also might see me pop up on the Eagles postgame tomorrow. I'm not really sure yet. But until we talk again, you guys have yourselves a great rest of your Sunday night. Enjoy your work week. I hope you're having a great Christmas season. And we'll talk real soon. Take care.